ones to watch tonight, the obvious, and this should be quite a show.
Well, no question about it. These guys can score with the best of them. Gilbert Arenas, who's 6th in the league in scoring. Kobe right behind him at 7th, and Kobe coming off that 53-point game. But as you mentioned, Gilbert has been on some type of streak. 5 of his last 6 games, 30 or better. And then the last game, still had about 25, 26 points. So he's on a very good roll.
Jason Phillips, Danny Crawford, Courtney Kirkland are our referees tonight as the Wizards wear the gold jerseys with the black pants. Kwame Brown with Brendan Haywood. We are underway. And despite Haywood having the reach, it goes to Kobe and the Lakers, who are 16-7 on the year. And we'll talk more about their road games. They've only played 7 road games on the season. Here's Walton on the baseline for the jumper. No good. And it's tipped out to Los Angeles. Both teams have won 7 of their last 9. Haywood got a piece of that.
Boy, he's been playing very solid basketball, especially at the defensive end, using that 7-foot frame and the long arms.
Todd Thomas, again, not available tonight. In fact, we really don't expect him to play on this road trip. He rolled his ankle against Houston, and that's going to take some time. 5 seconds to shoot for Jamison, who backs in on Radmanovic, flips one up and scores.
He likes to get that left shoulder on the right shoulder of the defender, or left shoulder of the defender, and then turn into the middle, kind of block it, shield the ball with his body.
Radmanovic the miss, and Haywood is there. Lakers without Lamar Odom. He got hurt in the first Houston game. Here's Gilbert for 3. It's a little bit off the mark. Arenas growing up in Van Nuys, California. Kobe underneath, has to flip it. They do nicely. Radmanovic, boy, he nearly traveled.
Ran that nice pick and roll, which gave Kobe an angle towards the basket and forced Brendan to come off him. Kobe doing a good job of finding his teammates as well as putting the numbers up.
He's averaging a shade under 5 assists per game, but his scoring down a little bit. That may be one of the reasons. Here's Butler for the jumper. No good.
Says something when your team is 3rd best field goal percentage team in the league, which is shooting good quality shots.
Kobe is fouled by Deshaun Stevenson. That's the first on him. Bryant averaging a shade under 28 points a game. That's 7th in the league. And Gilbert Arenas is 6th in the league, right at 28 points a game. Gilbert scores for schools tonight. George Washington Middle School in Alexandria. Keisha Bogan, the principal. And Mr. Poland will donate $100 for every point that Gilbert scores. Walton on the turnaround, good. Luke Walton averaging about 13 points a game and 5 rebounds. In his 4th year from Arizona. Here's Jamison for 3. And he softly rims it in.
He also, you take away that Philadelphia game, the last 4 or 5 games, he's been shooting some pretty high numbers and quality shooting as well.
Radmanovic flips it up, no good. Jamison's there, and Gilbert runs.
The presence of Haywood made him miss that shot.
Arenas strives and scores.
Nice one, yeah.
Wizards out quickly to a 7-4 lead. Here's Smush Parker. Lakers come off a double overtime win here Friday night against Houston. An amazing game. They had to come back from way down, and Bryant had 53 in the contest.
Down by as much as 21 for the game, but they were down by 12 in the 4th quarter.
Radmanovic for 3. Way off the mark, and Karan is there. Butler underneath, and an ill-advised pass. He tried to force it to Haywood.
Well, he had the shot, but thought he was going to get a layup.
And Jamison knocks it away, and it's saved to Washington.
There's that those turnovers that we talk about the Lakers commit.
Stevenson misses on the jumper. Eight and a half to play, first quarter from LA, and the first of 2 meetings between the Wizards and Lakers this year. Washington on the first of 4 games on the road. Walton spins. Butler is there to defend him. That's tough defense.
They allowed a lot of contact on that.
Gilbert. Good defense. He goes off the glass and scores.
Talking about a player as quick and strong as Gilbert, but the ability to stop on a dime as quickly as he was able to do.
Wizards by 5, their largest lead. Kobe gets around Stevenson underneath, and he carried the basketball. Lakers are 29th in the league, Phil, in turnovers per game.
Yeah, average about 17.5 per game, and this is one of them right there. Kobe had 5 turnovers in that game the other night against Houston, but he played 54 minutes.
Haywood knocked away from behind by Kwame and out of bounds. Kwame's played well, hasn't he? Played well lately. I mean, he's a little inconsistent, as he always has been.
But again, you watch the interaction between him and Kobe, and Kobe seems to be taking Kwame kind of under his wing and trying to instill some confidence and encourage him. And like you said, he's been a little inconsistent, but his play has benefited.
Wizards turned the ball over trying to get it in bounds as Kobe slapped it off Stevenson's leg. And the turnover is a costly for Haywood. Brendan on a fadeaway jumper. Missed it badly. Martin tries to keep it alive.
You can't make this into a personal battle between himself and Kwame Brown. One of the things we've talked about Brendan over the past few games is he's been under control. He's taking good shots. Most of his shots have been right at the rim. We don't like the look of that fadeaway jump shot.
4 unanswered points by the Lakers after the Wizards led by 5, and right now with 7 to go, it's a 1-point game. Well, back in the mid to late 90s, it was pretty evident over at the Grant High School in Van Nuys, California, that Gilbert Arenas was going to be something special. A harbinger of things to come. He gets a steal and a slam there. He was long and gangly and talented, and clearly head and shoulders above the rest of the pack. Gilbert with a birthday coming up. He'll be 25 January 6th. I was told he needed 75 after-game passes for the tickets that he got for tonight's game.
You know, he's a collector of jerseys, too. So I saw our good friend Zach Bono had a box full of jerseys that I guess he's going to have signed.
Well, he had a Phil Jackson jersey. He had a Luke Walton jersey. And he was going to get all of those signed. There's Gilbert Sr. in attendance tonight with, I'm sure, much of the family and friends. Gilbert's off to a good start. He's got 4 points on 2 of 3. He's got an assist. Wizards led by 5 a moment ago. The Lakers have scored 4 in a row. Butler penetrates. Draws contact, no call.
Straight up.
Smush Parker hit one a moment ago. Is way short on that. Haywood tips it up in the air, and Kwame keeps it alive.
The box out.
Kobe spins on Stevenson inside, and he's fouled.
Yeah, that's going to be a real good matchup all night long. Deshaun knows what his role is, and that's to keep Kobe out of the middle and to make things as difficult as possible. Kobe that time spinning off, and like we said about the similarities between Kobe and Gilbert, both these guys can spin off or absorb contact and still make their way to the basket and shoot a high percentage.
He made 5 3-pointers the other night in the game against Houston, went 17 of 38 from the field, and only missed 2 free throws in 16 attempts. And he was 2 assists away from a triple-double. He had 10 rebounds and 8 assists.
Yeah, I mean, he had one of the best shooting performances in that first 50-point game he had this year. He was 19 for 26 from the field.
Gilbert's jumper good, and the Wizards regained the lead after LA had grabbed it by 1. Steve Buckhantz with Phil Chenier and our Comcast Sportsnet crew. First of 4, the Wizards will be in Denver tomorrow night. If anybody has any eligibility left, the Nuggets are looking for you. That'll be interesting to see who they field in that game, as Jamison was held and it's a loose ball foul. And then after that, Wizards with a couple of days off. They'll be in Sacramento Thursday night and in Phoenix Friday night before coming home to Washington.
Back to Denver, they may have to split some of those suspensions. You know that if they get as many as 5 players suspended, that would leave them with, 7 players.
Yeah. Talking about the incident that occurred in New York, the fight. Gilbert for the long jumper. How about that? A 2-point field goal. He is blazing with 8 points on 4 of 5 shooting. He has the last 8 Washington points.
Yeah, that's amazing. Smush Parker was playing on his right side, too. Good job by Brendan to deny that attempt by Kwame.
Wizards by 3. Here's Jamison for the long arcing jumper. No good. Kwame Brown is there. Smush Parker averaging 10 points per game. Lakers signed him in 05 as a free agent. Haywood down low. Bodied by Kwame. Gilbert dumps it underneath for Jamison. Nicely done. Jarvis Hayes set to check in for Eddie Jordan. Wizards have not been above 500 this year. They're currently 11-11 for the first time since they were 3-3 early in the season. Here's Walton, nearly lost his footing. This time last year, Washington had a record of 9-13. Kobe, good defense,
yeah,
2 seconds.
Out.
Now he takes the shot and misses.
Good job by Deshaun.
Wizards 9-13 a year ago. Jamison again for the long jumper. Good. The Wizards have their largest lead of 6.
We talk about the difference with Jamison's shot when he has his feet planted underneath him and is able to elevate as opposed to being on the move and shooting jump shots.
Bryant with just 2 points. Parker into the corner, and he missed it. Wizards on a 9-2 run. Jamison, nice pass. Stevenson for the slam. And that's going to do it for Phil Jackson. He'll take a time as the Wizards run the transition well. They've made their shots. Washington shooting 60% from the field on 9 of 15 shooting. Wizards enjoy an 11-2 run, and they lead it by 8. Hey fans, will you be home for the holidays? Then purchase your Wizards holiday pack before December 20th to see the Wiz take on the Celtics, these Lakers, and the Miami Heat. Log on now to WashingtonWizards.com to order. Gilbert Arenas playing in front of the home fans. He was born in L.A. and then grew up in Van Nuys, and he's 4 of 5, Phil.
Well, he's only missed the 1 shot. You're right. He also has 3 assists, so he's distributed the ball extremely well. That's a tough shot. Smush Parker on his shooting hand. He still is able to drop it down. And Jamison also shooting extremely well. He's 4 of 5 also with a 3, so he has 10, and Gilbert 8.
In fact, they have, as you mentioned, the bulk of Washington's scoring as the Wizards are on an 11-2 run. They started 4 of 9. Since then, they're 5 of 6 from the field. Eddie Jordan had called a timeout after Washington was up by 5, and the Lakers cut it to 1. And now they've stretched the lead to 8. Kobe has just 2 points on 2 free throws. Walton underneath the corner.
That's one thing you want to try and take away from Luke Walton. He can be an excellent passer. You want to take away that passing game of his, force him to be a scorer, although he's averaging career high. It's too tough for Brendan to handle.
Yep. Smush the other way with Jamison on him. For Walton, they challenge him to shoot a 3, and he rims it. Gilbert will try for 3. Washington ranked last in the league at defending the 3-point shot. The Lakers are just blank from that range so far. They've missed all 6 of their long-range jumpers so far. Smush lost the ball, out of bounds, turned it over.
Good job by Deshaun. We're impressed with his defensive ability, and that time forced the turnover.
Our quarterly report is Washington has 8 points in the paint, and the Lakers 6 so far in this game, with 2:28 to go here in the first quarter. Down low, Jamison. Guarded by Radmanovic, flips on him too short, tries to get the rebound, still battling, it's out of bounds off Washington.